What's up, guys? We're here in the Hartland basement today. This past week in the drywall guys finished up all the finish work. They got it all textured and mudded, taped, finished, all that. So I'm here on site to, we're gonna prime it today and do the ceiling, paint tomorrow. Start painting walls on Wednesday. So I'm gonna show you a little bit how I go about painting a large area by myself. So I got paint sprayer here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around with the sprayer. I got the primer set up in it, and everything's gonna get rolled, but I'm going to, instead of cutting in with a brush, I'm gonna cut in with the sprayer. So back here, I'll spray all these edges up and down. And then I got my big 18-inch roller that I'll come through. And then that way I don't have to bring a brush or a mini roller. I can just go right up to where I sprayed in, take the big roller. I got the big nest. I'll put a couple gallons of paint in there, load up the sprayer, and I'll just cruise right through it. So I'll be able to tackle this space by myself a couple hours. It's like one of the ways that you can really, I'd consider it production painting, where you're just able to get through a big space by yourself in a short amount of time. So I'll make sure to include a video on how I go about spraying it. You can kind of see how I go through and just move. Like I said, we'll spray all the corners, big roller, roll the ceilings. We'll do the same thing on the wall here, spray in there. And then since obviously the floor isn't finished, we don't have to cover anything. And then since we don't have baseboards in, we can just roll right to the floor. So I'll roll close to the floor. We got like pretty big baseboards going in here. I can't remember off the top of my head. So I'll just leave a couple inches at the bottom. We'll be fine. So I can save a lot of time on that end too. It's just not having to cut in the bottom. So this is one way you can kind of cruise through bigger jobs, is just not even have to break a brush out, get the sprayer out, spray your corners, roll with an 18-inch roller, and you can fly. All right, so I'm all set up to start spraying. Got my cut bucket, brush, mini roller set up so we can do any fine detail. 18-inch roller on a rolling stick. And then over here, we got our sprayer all set up and ready to go. We got our bucket of paint ready to go. So like I said, as I'm going, spray all the corners, come through with that big roller, roll it in, fill in all the ceilings, all the walls. And that's how we're gonna go about doing this. So here, I'll show you a little clip. So as we're going, you guys want to make sure you're loading up that roller real good. Getting a lot of product on there. I always like to work in nice straight lines. Just keep it easy. Keep your pattern straight and easy, especially like this isn't too bad. You can see where we're covering, but when we're doing the ceiling and we're doing white on white, you can kind of keep yourself in a nice straight order. It makes coverage even better, makes your job easier. And that's the goal, is always make it as easy as possible while also making it as done well as possible. Now, another thing we got to keep in mind too is watching our runs so we don't get too caught up in the corners. Don't want any runs, any streaks, any big buildups. So always kind of making sure we're keeping an eye on where we're at, where we're moving. If there's anything coming up ahead, anything going on from where we just were. It's the little things like that separate a good paint job from a great paint job. Anyone can paint walls, but it's the little details that really separate a good painter from a bad painter. Painting in itself isn't too tricky, but, take pride in your work. Take the time to do it right. Fix the little mistakes, the little runs, the little streaks. Something that'd be easy, and what most people probably would never even notice, but those are the things that anyone who has a good eye is going to catch and be able to separate you from someone who's good and someone who's just an okay painter. So I'm going to keep cruising around here, I said, I find this to be the best, quickest, fastest, most efficient way to get through priming a large area. And I'll do the same for the ceiling. When I get to the ceiling, instead of having to cut in the whole thing, I'll spray in the edges, roll the ceiling, and then obviously the walls we cut in with the brush. And that'll just be that. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing today, priming the basement. So here's your update from the Hartland basement. Like I said, we're getting the primer on. Drywall was finished this weekend. I went over how I like to prime the walls in a basement. You know, take advantage of being able to get a sprayer in here and be able to make a little bit more of a mess because, you know, we got the floors covered. It's a fresh space. So I can get the sprayer in here, spray away, and take advantage of the speed I'm able to gain from that. So that's it for today. Once again, I'm Dom with Quick Improvements. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave a comment for me down below. I'll get back to you. Otherwise, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Just search quick_improvements, and looking forward to hearing from you guys in the future. Thanks.